Hello, thank you for agreeing to give this interview about your wonderful book. I'm honored to talk with you about this book and to have the chance to find out about the background process. Yes, firstly, I want to ask you, this is a book about listening, yeah?
Yes, absolutely.
It's about listening. Why did you decide to choose this particular topic to focus your book on?
I was in Slovakia, in Košice, a couple of years ago with my publisher from London, and we were there doing the research for Silke's story. And we'd spent the day with these amazing friends and neighbours of Silke's, and they didn't speak English, I didn't speak Slovakian, but we'd had this incredible communication. There were translators there that were helping us. And my publisher said to me after, that night, we were back in the hotel in Košice, and she said, I just couldn't believe how you were able to communicate with those people, even though you didn't speak the same language. She said, why was that? And I said, well, it's simple, really. You just listen to people. That's how you learn anything. She said, but how did you know how to do that? And I started telling her about my great-grandfather, how as a child, he was the only person in my life who not only listened to me, but who I actually listened to as well, because he spoke to me. And it just kind of grew from that conversation, combined with the thousands of people who have written to me since the Tattooist of Auschwitz and Silke's Journey came out. And they share with me some deeply personal, emotional event that's going on in their life. And it's all around tragedy and trauma. And when I read their emails, I find I'm actually listening to them. It's just how I operate, how I work. So grateful that people will write to me at the other end of the world who don't know me and share these incredible stories with me. And so, yeah, we started talking about listening.
So your journey alongside Holocaust survivors about Leia, and not any survivor, but the Tattooist of Auschwitz. Your journey is full of wisdom and experiences. During this process, what happened with you?
I'm not sure that I want to be called wise, the wise woman. No, look, but of course I had to listen to Lally, didn't I? And the whole way I was able to tell his story was because I could listen to him without taking notes, without having a recording machine, truly listen to him. And that enabled him to trust me, to feel comfortable sharing his stories with me. Does it make me wise? No, it just makes me somebody who is observant. And my work too, by the way, because I worked in a hospital where every day I met people who were coming there because something had gone wrong with their lives or their families' lives. So it's always been about listening. And I just love it when people want to talk to me and with me, and I'll always listen.
Well, the people suffer in the same way all over the world, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, tragedy and trauma is not unique to any one particular group of people. It's just different.
Well, what is the secret, the secret recipe of listening to someone?
Truly engaging with them and not being distracted and not interfering. And really the simple answer is just shut up. Be quiet. Let them talk. Don't say, yes, that happened to me. Oh, I remember somebody else that happened to. It's not about you when you're listening to somebody tell you their story. You have no part in it other than to be that person listening. So really simply, Cristina, just shut up.
Well, I will, but in a couple of minutes. Well, we often use logic and mind when we speak with someone or when we listen to someone. Why are we afraid about our souls, our hearts to open?
Well, the whole thing about making yourself vulnerable and opening up, it's scary. It's really scary. And so we don't do it. But, I can't tell you the number of times when I have been talking at events and people come up to me afterwards and have said words to me like, I had to learn about my mother at her funeral. Why is it I never spoke to my grandmother, to my father, to my brother, to my sister? And now I am sitting at their funeral hearing about them, their lives, because we don't even ask the people who are nearest and dearest to us. Often we don't. Exactly. Their past life. I regret that I never asked my own father enough about his life as a boy. If the book can in any way give some clues and some tips how to listen to children, how to listen to older people, and just as importantly, how to listen to yourself, that's all I was trying to do.
Well, this is the next question. Is it plausible for us to listen to ourselves, our thoughts, our feelings? If so, how can we achieve doing such thing?
Look, you can really only do it by getting yourself into a quiet place where you're alone. Well, with me, that's the case. Yeah, my body's talking to me all the time. I don't listen to it all the time. It's been telling me for the last hour that I've been sitting down way too much today and I really should get up and move around a bit. But as a writer, you spend most of your time sitting down. So there's that whole, the physical side of your body telling you what to do and listening to it. But it is that emotional side of listening to yourself, not being scared to actually confront what's going on in your own head. And you don't have to share that with anybody. That's the beauty of it. And with Lally, I would go through a process with him where I was traumatized with what he was telling me. Absolutely. I started going home and telling my family about it. And then I withdrew from my family because I decided I can't burden them with all this grief and horror. And so I withdrew from them. I withdrew from Lally, and I didn't stop and listen until a colleague at the hospital where I worked, she kind of smacked me around the head one day and pointed out to me that it's very easy for somebody else's trauma and pain to transfer to you. And your job is not to accept it. You have no right to it. It is not your pain. And so then I started leaving Lally, driving around the block and sitting in my car and just listening to my own self tell me, leave it behind. Go home to your family and be the wife and mother that you have to be, and don't try and take away. And it really wasn't difficult. You can do that in about 10 minutes. Well, I could.
Well, you said that there's a hypothetical price to being able to listen to someone. What is the price?
Well, the prices that you can possibly pay is that they will tell you something that you might need to decide whether or not you have to do something with that knowledge. It is never your story. And I guess unless somebody's going to be in any way hurt by you not doing something, then it's all about keeping secrets. For me, I'm looking at you and I'm looking behind you and I see these beautiful pink roses. And I think there's a story behind them. They just look gorgeous. And that's what you can tap into with somebody and just ask them about something very simple in their life and get them talking. I guess the price is, well, really, it's only a good price. You help them and you are rewarded by getting to know them better. It's not rocket science.
Yeah, at the end of your book, you announced your next novel, yeah? And
yeah.
What can you tell me about it?
Well, it went to the printers a couple of days ago, so I can tell you that at long last it is completed. Look, I'm just so delighted with this story. That I opened an email 2 years ago that got sent to me. I was in South Africa and read an email from a man who lives in Canada, and he had left there picking up a copy of my book, The Tattooist of Auschwitz, taking it to his elderly mother in Tel Aviv. And she saw the cover, saw the numbers tattooed on the arms of the girl and the boy, because Canada has the same cover as we have in Australia, which is different to yours. And she said to her son, that must be about Lali and Gita. So from that email, I subsequently have been to Israel 2 or 3 times. I have met 2 of the 3 sisters that the book is called, 3 Sisters. 2 of them are still alive. They're 95 and 97. And their story of survival and resilience and the love of sisters, how that can carry them through the most horrific circumstances. Cristina, they were 15, 17 and 19 years of age, just young girls. Their survival, well, they have told me stories that I've not seen written anywhere else, because every person in Auschwitz-Birkenau saw things and interpreted things differently. Their survival from the death march, they were taken on that death march nearly 3 years later, and they decided to run from the Nazis. They would say a bullet in the back now is better than one more day. That time they spent with a group of other girls navigating through Poland and Germany in the middle of winter is truly phenomenal. And when they then got back to Slovakia and were once again rejected, how they then made a pact to go and live in Israel and be there in Israel at that time when it was being created and be part of the creation of the state of Israel. And by the way, Romania features in it too, because they had to travel through Slovakia and through Romania to get on board a boat at Constanta to go to Haifa.
So
very cloak and dagger.
Or it would be close, yeah. Well, so the last question is it possible to heal ourselves or to grow as people by listening to others' stories?
Look, I absolutely believe so. I saw that happen every day at the hospital where I worked, because I would get to know people who were there for weeks and months and years with those terrible illnesses, or sometimes very briefly, and keep in touch with them. And of course you can heal yourself, but you can't do it alone. And I guess that's the thing to always remember, that we all need people in our lives. If it's not family you're connected to, it's friends. But as Lali would say, if you wake up in the morning, it's a good day.
It's a good day.
Start that premise from there. And then it's just up to every person how they then live that day. But hey, guess what? There's another one coming tomorrow if it doesn't work out for you.
Thank you so much, Heather Morris, and looking forward to reading your next book.
You're very welcome, and thank you, Humanitas. It's such a delight that you have stayed on this journey with me through all my books, and I'm really, really grateful for that. And I had intended to be in your country last June when I was going to be traveling. I will get back there as quickly as I can, and I look forward to it very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.